Hi, this is Dean Storr with Dean Storr Coaching, Training, and Speaking Team. Looking forward to helping you today on this teaching that I'm going to do. And it's going to really help you if you really stay tuned in and all the way to the end. It's only going to be about 5 to 7 minutes, okay? But if you're here looking at this, you're here for a reason, because you're interested. You're looking for an answer, you're looking for a solution, you're looking for something, a purpose in life, or whatever it might be. I guarantee you this, you watch this section, this teaching piece that I'm going to do, and it'll revolutionize you and change your life. Who am I? I'm Professor Mindshift. What do? I'm a mind shift professor. And so let's get started, all right? I want to talk about the mind. Now, you and I think in pictures, yes? If I have to ask you to get a picture of your front yard, your garage, your refrigerator, your car, whatever it is, a picture comes in and then one leaves, and another one comes in and one leaves. We think in pictures. If I asked you to get a picture of your mind, what would pop up? Now, the majority of people in my audiences, who I work with, they'll say my mind or my brain. Well, see, your mind or your brain is no more part of the mind. Your brain or they'll be blank, right? And so what happens is if you're trying to figure out how to transform your mind, right? Like what Paul says in Romans 12:2, how do I transform? Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind. We have to have an image to work with, right? Because nobody's ever seen the mind. It's an invisible piece of you. It's the breath. It's the spirit. It's the essence of who you are. So Dr. Thurman Fleet in 1934 developed an image of the mind. It's just an image because he was trying to get his patients from point A to point B. And he found that it took them forever to get there. And once they got there, what happened, this is no lie, 80 to 90%, right, would rubber band back to A. Why would they go back to A when they were doing so well? You hear people smoking cigarettes and all of a sudden they quit smoking or on a diet or whatever, and the next thing you know, they're going back to the same thing. What happens is they come back here. Why? Even a drug addict, think about that. Even a drug addict will come back to this place because they know it. It's safe. It's comfortable. It's like putting on an old pair of jeans. Even though it's killing you, you'll come back to this place. So Dr. Thurman Fleet in 1934, he developed an image to work with, the mind, okay? And how he developed it, he called it the stick person. Now, every time when I do this, people kind of chuckle because this is the stick person. This is going to represent the mind. This is going to represent the body. And they laugh because the mind or the head is so much bigger than the body, and the guy's going to fall over it, right? And so here we go. We're gonna not focus on the physical because that's really what we've been focusing on most of our lives. If you think about it, here's something that'll shift your thinking. That my hand is not solid. The floor that I'm standing on is not solid. If you look under a microscope of my hand, it's a bunch of molecules. If you look under a more powerful microscope, it's a dance of energy. Everything that's going on around us, it's an ocean of motion. Everything is deteriorating. Everything is changing. And so if you think about it, that's why we're going to take our focus off of the body, and we're going to shift up here to the mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the mind in half. This is the conscious mind. This is the subconscious mind. This is where we have the ability to think. This is where our free will is. Okay? This is where we wish and nothing happens here. This is where we can come up with thousands of ideas sitting on the couch but never move. Yeah? And so if you think about it, this part of our mind is our feeling or our emotional mind. This is where our self-image is. Yeah? This part of our mind is conditioned. This is where our fixed habits are. Now think about this. I'm going somewhere. This part of our mind is where our belief systems are. Okay? And the thing is this really listen to what I'm saying, because this stuff changes your life. Don't just nonchalantly. Really pay attention. Take some notes. This part of your mind, here it comes, this part of your mind cannot distinguish between what is truth and what is imagined. It just accepts it. It accepts it. It comes in here and it just says, you know, that's what you want? Okay, well, let's adjust it and do this, whatever. That part of your mind cannot distinguish between what is truth and imagined. It just accepts it. When I was growing up, I was stupid. That's what I believed. I was dumb. So let's do this. We're going to put a phone at the top of this, and we're going to put this word power. Okay? Now, this word power, I have 3 types of people in my audience. So I'm going to let you off the hook today. Okay? Because I would call this power God, because I'm a Christian. Now, scientists would call that power energy. A spiritualist would call that power source. So whatever you want to call it, that's totally up to you. But I call it God. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of an idea. Right? Think of an idea do you want. What do you want? You want a stronger business? You want to double your income? Do you want to have a better relationship? What is it that you truly want? And as you think about that idea, let's just say for fun, because most people can kind of focus in on money. I mean, it's just an easier thing to look at. Some people, real estate people, will say, I don't want to focus in on money. I want to focus in on maybe helping 100 people by the end of the year. I said, well, that's good. So if you want to do that, put 100 people at the end of the year. That's your idea. Or if you want to double your income, or let's say you want to make $350,000 or whatever it is that you want. Here's the kicker. When you get emotionally involved in an idea, and the way you're going to do that is you're going to ask yourself this question. Let's do it in red because that way you can see it. You're going to ask yourself this question is, why? Why do I want a stronger family? Why do I want a bigger business? Why do I want to double my income? Why do I want to move to another country? Why do I want to move to another state? Right? Think about that. Why? This is what happens when you ask yourself why and you really start to peel it back. Because see here, if I ask you the question why do I want to double my income? Well, so I can pay my bills and maybe go to the beach or, you know, this and that. I would ask you again why. And then as you tell me again, well, you know, I want to spend more time with my family. You know, I want to spend more time with my wife. And then I would ask you why. And you would get to a point where if you ask me why one more time, I'm going to smack you. But I'll tell you what, as you peel this back and peel this back, and you ask yourself why, this is what you're going to discover. It's going to discover your purpose. Right? It's going to discover your purpose. Why you're on this planet. And the other thing what happens is when you begin to develop your why, it comes down here, you get emotionally involved in an idea. Remember, this is the feeling part of your mind. This is when things shift. Because see, this is where your self-image is. There's part of your self-image that is dark and there's a part of your self-image that is light. And when you begin to understand this concept, and understand that you will never, ever outperform your self-image until you learn how to change it. Let me say that again, because it's worth repeating and it's worth writing down. You will never outperform your self-image until you learn how to change it. Now, here's the thing that happens. You get involved in this emotional idea, right? You get emotionally involved in this idea. And you begin to say to yourself, I'm going to give my subconscious part of my mind marching orders. Because you remember this part of your mind cannot distinguish between what is truth and what is imagined. It just accepts it. So when you get involved in your why and you begin to act, here's one of those things you want to write down. When you begin to act as if you're already in possession of what you want. See the new car. See the doubling income. See the stronger relationships. Whatever it is. when you act as if you're already in possession of what you want, it begins to change things. It begins to shift the energy. It begins to come down here. All of a sudden, your self-image begins to change. So your thoughts create a feeling that sets up a vibration. When you think about a vibration, you think about energy. Remember, we're energy, right? And you think about a vibration, you think about energy, you think about, what do you call it? A radio is a sending and receiving station. A phone is a sending and receiving station. If you look at yourself as a sending and receiving station, the very energy that is leaving you by law, when you understand the laws of the universe, the laws that govern this power, all of a sudden when you get in harmony with those laws, things begin to happen. So as you begin to understand that as you begin to change your energy, this energy, the very energy that is leaving you by law, right? It's like the law of gravity, the law of cause and effect, on and on and on. By law, the same energy that you gave out is coming back to you exactly the same. Okay, this is what happens. Your thoughts create a feeling that sets up a vibration that moves your body into action. That produces results. That's really what we want to see. We want to see different results. We want to see our life changed. But what happens? What happens is this part of our subconscious part of our mind, this here is the operating system. This is how you turn on a light and shut off a light. Until this is changed, this will never change. So this is what I do. Sometimes I'll ask people, if you're going to change and get better results, where would you start in this model? Where would you start? And salespeople normally will shout out, it'll shout out right here. Action. If I just make more phone calls. If I just make more phone calls, all of a sudden it's going to... No. Because this here, you're just going to continue to do same thing over and over and over again. Right? Some people will say, well, I got to change my self-image. Well, how do you change your self-image? How do I change the vibration that is leaving me with the vibration that I want to come back? You remember, I'm going to give you the answer today. Act as if you're already in possession of what you want. Act as if you're already in possession of what you want. All of a sudden, as you begin to emotionally get involved in this idea and you begin to understand your why that discovers your purpose, all of a sudden it comes down here and you give your subconscious part of your mind marching orders and your self-image begins to change and your life begins to change. You look at yourself, I'm an author, I'm a teacher, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, whatever it is that you want. All of a sudden things begin to shift and things begin to happen and your vibration change. And as your vibration changes, that energy coming back to you is the same. And all of a sudden now you're getting things that you want because you're in harmony with the laws of the universe. I would love to talk to you about the Psycho-Cybernetics book by Maxwell Maltz. It's phenomenal, but I don't have the time today. Maybe in another teaching session I'll do that. But thank you so much for showing up. And hopefully this got some ideas to where you can really begin to move forward and change the way you live and change your life, change your relationships. This is Dean Storr with the Dean Storr Coaching and Training Team. Professor Mindshift saying thanks and goodbye.
I like that one better than the first.